So we have a short agenda. We have 6 sections. The first is how I explain how AnalyticsCreator data warehouse automation works. This is my part. After that, Thomas will explain how data warehouse testing and data testing works. And after that, we will have a live demo with Dimitri, our CTO. You will see how you grow up a data warehouse. So we have not the full time. Usually we need more than 1 hour, 1.5 hours for that. You will see the videos also on YouTube, the long ones. Today we have around half an hour. And after that presentation, Thomas will present BiG EVAL, and you will see how testing works. Yeah, and after that, we have a Q&A. You can ask us all we have in your mind. And after that, we will present the offering for you for all who attend to this event. So it's really very important that you understand how AnalyticsCreator works. With AnalyticsCreator, you do an automated design of a holistic data model and a model how you process the data from the sources through all layers of the data warehouse or data lake or however you want to name it, through the front-end technology you use. And it's, I would say, the design is very independent from the target Microsoft technology you use. So you can use after that a SQL server. You push all the source code to the data warehouse or an Azure environment, or also a tabular model, a OLAP model, Power BI, Click, also Tableau. And also we process and create the Azure Data Factory and the SQL Server SSIS statements. The design of development and the development process is very closely linked together. So while you are designing, you see immediately the source code, and you can add your own code wherever you want. So just short customer stories. I just want to highlight there are many customer stories on our webpage. Now it's not so much time that I can go in detail. If you want to see the customer stories, just go to our webpage and download it. This is one customer who report to us that he reduced with AnalyticsCreator 80% time and costs in the IT controlling. The next customer, My Muesli, they had at the beginning really no idea about data warehousing. With AnalyticsCreator, they learned how to do data warehousing and push all the analytics applications. There is a nice success story at the website. Another customer in the real estate domain, they have a very big, huge SAP environment, and they reported to us that they could achieve 20 times faster results with AnalyticsCreator. We recorded a sandbox from ourselves, how this is possible to achieve 20 times faster. It's really amazing. You find this also in our YouTube channel. About our vision, this is also very important to understand. It's very important you understand that we want to give you a tool where you get independent to software vendors, to software technology, also to us. So AnalyticsCreator is a pure design time tool, has no runtime, so no vendor lock. When you work with AnalyticsCreator, you generate all the source code and push it to the Microsoft environment, and after then you can cut it. In the runtime process, AnalyticsCreator has nothing to do. There is no role for that. It's just for designing. So you use it for design, and after that, yeah, you are not necessary to use it. AnalyticsCreator has a holistic data model, combined the data model and also the business model in one. And this is really independent also from the target platform you use, or what I already mentioned. And also we copyright, we transfer the copyrights to you as a customer or to a partner. So you are allowed to use the generated code from our technology for any reason you want to do. What is also important to know for you, that we focus 100% on the Microsoft stack. So this is what we think when we focus on one thing, that you get the best results out of it. We have an open repository. That means that the metadata we store in the created model of the data warehouse in one place, and you can develop your own add-ons as a partner or as a customer as you want. So we have partners, they created, for example, a generator for several databases, target databases such as a Snowflake or such as a MariaDB. This is the 5-step approach, very short. First of all, you connect to the sources. You define in the next step the data. So we pull out the data, the master data and the metadata from your sources. After that, intelligent wizard suggests you a draft model of a data warehouse where you do your adaptations, and you create your calculations, your business model and all that. And after that, you deploy it to the target platform where you want. This is something I already explained. You see it also on our webpage. This is the whole architecture picture of AnalyticsCreator. And here's some use cases, very short. Sure, you can create a new analytics platform as a data warehouse. You can modernize. You can create also a data vault model. You can create a synapse or data lake house. Also, we are very good in connectivities to SAP. So there we have, I would say, really a lot of customers who use this use case. And you can export the whole data warehouse with data and the model, for example, to Oracle or whatever. There are some environments you can do this. We export it to a ODBC driver, and the ODBC driver write the data in your target platform wherever you want. The benefits, as you can imagine, save a lot of time. It's very easy to use, and what is a very important one, it's the agile work, that you support your agile projects ideas, and of course you reduce a lot of risks. There are much more on the website, and you can imagine there are many benefits also for developers. You stay really independent. You can do your individual adaptations and reuse the code or the generated code in several different projects. And also for sure you can you generate the work which you don't like so much with the recurrent work, which is very similar to each project. You generate this, for example, automatically, and you can concentrate your work on the main things, on the business topics, and on that. So at the end, just show you that we are a winner 4 years in a row in the BiG data management survey, 2019, 20, 22, 23, always in the right uppercase before all other technologies. This is something which is very good for us, and we're happy about that. So I'm at the end. I give now the token to Thomas?
Okay, thank you very much, Peter. I will share my screen and start with a very impressive number. I think maybe you already have seen this number before, and it says that nearly every second data record you have in your business application or within your files you get delivered from any external sources and so on, that these records contain at least one critical error. And I think that is very impressive. This may lead to problems afterwards, but it could be that there will be no problem with these errors. But if you have any issues, then it has an impact maybe on decision making because you have the wrong numbers in your analytics, or maybe it harms the efficiency of data-driven processes or whatever else. And so that leads regarding to Gartner's service to $40 million of financial impacts if you have these data quality issues at the end. And okay, so let's go to the next slide. You may think, oh, now I have a data warehouse automation solution. Everything gets generated for me, and it helps me building a high quality of my data warehouse. Why do I need testing? And I have an analogy for this with this picture here. Please think at a factory plant where everything is automated. You have robotics and so on that build products, cars in this example. Do you know any factory that has no quality assurance at the end? I'm not aware about such factories, and I wouldn't buy products from them because there are many things that may impact the production process. And there could be any raw products at the beginning of the process that may have issues in quality, or there may are any tools or so that are defect and do not produce very good quality at the end. So you definitely need quality management at the end. And same applies to your data pipelines. If we look at this picture here, we have the principle of value in, value out. So that means if you want to get the best results out from your data analytics systems, you need two things. First, you need high quality data. That's one thing. And the other thing is you need correctly working or error-free data processing systems. So this may be the data integration process, ETL, ELT, or just an import or export process, or any other application that processes your data. And if just one of these doesn't work correctly, the output is garbage. So you turn the concept from value in, value out to garbage in, garbage out. And yeah, that's so we see here two disciplines that are important to get the best results. The first one is data quality management. That means you need to manage the quality of your data during the whole life cycle of information. And secondly, we have data test automation. So you need to test everything that is built within your development processes or within your release cycle of your IT systems. And BiG EVAL covers both of these disciplines because you can build test cases for data test automation, like, let's say, check whether all customer IDs are, from the ERP are also present in the data warehouse. And this the same test case could be used in production as well. So check that on a daily basis, and you have a good number to see whether all customers are in your data warehouse every day, just as a simple example. Okay, but why do we may have problems in our data pipeline if we use data automation solutions, or if we do it manually as well? First, here you see an example, high-level view on a data analytics pipeline. And we have data warehouse automation here as a part for building this, or as a tool for building this pipeline. So it may covers more or less of this pipeline to help you building this. And it's a really powerful solution that helps you do this very quickly and with a high quality. But there are issues. First of all, you have no control over your source data, usually. And that means there could be uncertain behavior, or it could be error prone. I have two examples for this, why this could happen. First, you may have manual inputs from users in business applications. You all know your users are very creative, and if they need to do anything special that is not covered by the business application, they will find a way to do it. And trust me, this leads to problems in your data integration pipeline. And another example is from one of our actual customers. It's a grocery store here in Switzerland. They have a lot of stores with their own point of sales solutions, and they deliver their data to an integration platform on a daily basis. Sometimes one of these point of sales doesn't deliver any information, and that leads to an issue at the end. So data is not present, and this could also be something. So you have no control over your data sources usually. On the other end, often presentation layers or analytical models are built manually, and everywhere where manual tasks come in to the development process, there may be more problems and human errors at the end. Also in data warehouse automation, there are parts that are built by human, maybe custom logic you may integrate. As an example, you accidentally use an outer join instead of an inner join. This could lead to a problem at the end. So there are many touch points where that could impact the quality of your data at the end. So that's why we think you definitely need test automation. So let's look at this diagram to show you where it makes sense to apply test automation. Everywhere where you can see an orange square, this could be test cases built by BiG EVAL. So we have here 3 different layers in our release cycle or automation, in our release cycle or in our release architecture. We have a development environment, a QA environment, and a live environment. And you can apply regression testing with BiG EVAL in the development environment. Usually you can use the same test cases in your QA environment and also in the live environment, as I told you before. So the same test cases usually make sense to use in the live environment as well. So BiG EVAL is one of the only solutions that covers also testing or data validation in live environments and not only in your release cycle. In between, where you integrate or deploy your components, you may add quality gates that check whether your components work correctly. So nothing should be deployed to your production environment before without checking it before. On the left side here, we also added data quality gates to check whether your information you use in your live environment from data sources is correct. So no erroneous data record should reach your live environment, because you all know how much effort it means to fix errors in your live environments. You may also use data validations in your production environments to reach a higher level of quality right in your data sources. What's the most powerful way? One more aspect here why you need test automation is definitely if we look at this agile sprint methodologies here. You all know this graphic. We have this sprints here, a lot of sprints within our development project, and they are usually very short, and data warehouse automation like AnalyticsCreator covers a huge part of this release cycle, but there is still a gap here in data or in testing. That's where BiG EVAL comes into. So So you can cover the whole process and get a very high automation degree. And why you need that is simple. You have test cases for everything that is built in sprint 1 in this example. And if you go over to the next sprint, you may retest the same things again to ensure that nothing we have built in sprint 2 has a bad impact onto what is already working from sprint 1. So this is called regression testing. And so with every sprint, there will be more test cases and even more and more. And if you manually test, you simply don't have enough time to test everything. So that means you may drop test cases, or you only test what's new in that sprint, and that's not a very efficient way to test. And the output is not what you need at the end. Here, a link to our ROI calculator, just if you want to calculate how much it costs for manual testing versus automated testing. It's an interesting thing also to see. We built that with a chatbot. It's a very funny way to calculate your ROI. And at the end, you get a powerful sheet to show to your boss or whoever how valuable it is to test automatically. So let's go to the last couple of slides here, just some other usage scenarios for BiG EVAL and a couple of our customer logos. You can also use data validation in business scenarios here. I don't go tell you a lot about the details here because we don't have enough time. And I show you just the next slide here, how BiG EVAL works. It's a simple concept. You have the test case editor. It connects to different data sources. Everything that has an OLEDB or ODBC driver can be connected. Flat files, ERPs like SAP or Dynamics and so on can be connected to BiG EVAL. Also SaaS solutions through our REST APIs, connectors and so on. And the test results at the end flow into a dashboard where you can analyze everything. I will show you that in the demo later. And you can send email alerts or also alerts to Teams, Slack, or any other collaboration solution. And we have integrations to thousands of other applications through Power Automate or Zapier or such solutions that you can use to maybe trigger business processes or technical processes to fix the issues at the end. Just one word to this slide to conclude my presentation. Now I have one more afterwards, but you have different ways to build test cases. Important here is to know we have a lot of examples within our gallery, and we have pre-built test cases you can use, and you can build your own test algorithms using our customizability scripting functionality at the end. So you get up very quickly with BiG EVAL. And here how BiG EVAL works together with AnalyticsCreator. It works that way. AnalyticsCreator has a repository of your solution that you modeled within AnalyticsCreator, and BiG EVAL is able to read that metadata and apply test cases automatically to all objects that are present within this repository. I will show you that in the demo later. So I think I hand over to Dimitri for the presentation or for the demo of AnalyticsCreator, and take over the screen, Dimitri.
Thank you. Thank you. I will continue. Let me present my screen. One moment, please. This one. Okay, I hope you can see my screen, and then let's start with a short demo of how AnalyticsCreator works. I'm starting AnalyticsCreator right now, and we'll create the new demo data warehouse. Let's call it first DWH. I will create the new data warehouse project, and the new data warehouse repository. This is a database located on my SQL Server instance. Will be created. This database contains the full information about the data warehouse, which I will generate, and you have full access to this repository. Okay, now we created the empty data warehouse project, and I will use the Microsoft Northwind database as a source for my data warehouse. I will add the new connector. At connector, we support different kind of connectors. You can see here the list of the connectors which we support directly, where we can read the metadata from the usual databases, or DBC data sources, text files, Excel files. We can read the metadata from SAP system directly. If you have the SAP system, we can read the metadata and create the according ETL processes to get the data from the SAP systems. We support OData interface. We can read the data from Azure Blob Storage, and so on and so on. Okay, now I will create a new data source to the Northwind database located on my demo server. I have modified the connection string. This is Northwind, I hope. Okay, test connection successfully established, and now I will start the data warehouse wizard, which will help me to create the draft version of my data warehouse very briefly. Okay, let me take some tables from this Northwind database. Categories, suppliers, product orders, employees, customers, for example, order details. I think that's enough. Okay, then here I will decide what I will do with my data, which I have from the data sources. I will import all the data. I will historicize every imported table. I will create the dimensions, and from the order details table, I will create the fact transformation, because this table contains the measures and most detailed information which I need in my data warehouse. We can create the different kind of data warehouses. You can see, for example, classic. This is classic Kimball data warehouse with these facts and dimensions. We can use the data vault modeling approach. But today we will create the classic Kimball data warehouse. Okay, on the next screen, I can define some name templates, like, for example, all dimensions will have dim prefix in the front, transformations will fact prefix in the front. Okay, here on the next step screen, I can define some additional parameters. For example, I will create the fact transformation using all related tables, not only directly related tables, the order detail transformation. But let's just click on the finish, and now wizard analyzes, so it's analyzing the metadata from our Northwind database and is trying to create the data warehouse. Okay, and here you can see the data warehouse created by AnalyticsCreator, by data warehouse wizard. And this is a typical data warehouse. You can see the data layer diagram or data flow diagram. There are the different layers from the left to the right. There are our data sources. If I click on this data source, I can see the structure of the source table. And then we have staging layer here, where the data will be imported into. For example, this is a categories table, where the categories table will be imported. It has the same columns like the source table. The import will be performed in the integration service package, import package, or In case you use Data Factory, Microsoft Data Factory, we will use integration import pipeline to import the data. The definition of this import you can find here in this IP square. Here you can see the mapping between the source and the target columns. Here you can define, for example, some additional filters to restrict the amount of the data you will import. You can define the different variables, and you can manage your filters using variables. And using this way, you can define the differential data loading. You can define here the different scripts which will be executed before and after import. Okay, that's it all. Then we have the persistent staging layer. This layer is optional. It is not necessary to create the persistent staging layer if you don't want, but usually we recommend to create the persistent staging layer. In this layer, we store the historicized data. Every time when the data will be imported, they will be compared with the data stored in the persistent staging layer. The differences will be detected and the data will be historicized. If I take a look on this categories table in the persistent staging layer, I will see there are 3 additional columns. 2 of them is .font hist and .is hist. This is a date from and date to. This is a validity period of the specific data row. And then we have here another column. This is SATS ID. This is a surrogate key of the specific data row. This is a typical slow changing dimension historization. And we always recommend to historicize the data using SCD historization. The historization configuration is stored in this historization package or historization pipeline definition. If I click on this HP square, I can see here the definition of my historization. For example, for every field, I can decide which historization type I will use. SCD2 means the full history of the changes in the specific field will be stored in the historization table. Actual only or SCD1 means no history will be stored, but the value of the actual row in the historized table will be changed. And none means the changes in the specific field will be not detected, but in case any other field will be changed, the SCD0 or field will be stored in the historization table too. There we have here a lot of different options which allow you to configure your historization. For example, you can define the different filters to restrict the amount of the data which should be historicized. You can define the variables and manage your filters using the variables. You can create the calculated columns, for example, to detect the differences between the new and the old versions of your data rows. You can even already historicized data. You can take the existing historization from your data sources and store in the historized table. You can define scripts which will be executed before and after historization. And to perform historization, we generate storage procedures, and you can see the text of this storage procedure here. And you can even modify the storage procedure in case you select the storage procedure type as manually created. In this case, you can modify the storage procedure if you want. Okay, this is what's related to historization. And the next layer, this is the core layer. You can see these blue squares, they are the transformations. The usual transformation in AnalyticsCreators is the view, and you can see here this is a regular transformation. It has a based on this tabular definition, AnalyticsCreator will create the view definition. The view generated by AnalyticsCreator you can see here. Okay, here in this transformation, you can select the tables which should be used in the transformation. Here on the top, you can see the list of the columns and the transformation. Okay, nothing specific. You can create your own views. For example, in this case, you should use a manual transformation type. We support the different script transformations. You can create the transformation based on the SQL script or on the storage procedures. And you can even create the external transformations, and that means you can create your own integration service packages or pipelines and use these packages or pipelines in the AnalyticsCreator. It's possible too. Okay, let's take a look on our fact transformation created by AnalyticsCreator. This is this one. I will set the filter, and then we can see better the dependencies of this fact transformation. If I click on this transformation, I can see there is many tables used in this transformation. This is a typical fact transformation. You can see here the different historized table, and on the top you can see only the surrogate keys from this historized table. AnalyticsCreator found that some tables have the relationships and created for us this fact transformation based on the relationships AnalyticsCreator got from the Notwin database. And let's take a look on the view generated by AnalyticsCreator. It is very important. Every transformation here, every table here is historized table, and it's pretty difficult to join the historized table. And to join the tables, we use the snapshot historization type. You can see there is a snapshot table. This is a table generated by AnalyticsCreator, and this table contains at least one data row with the actual date stored in the column date. And then every other table is joined to this snapshot table, and from every historized table we get only the data which were actual for the specific snapshot date. You can see this is this join condition. We get only the data from the historized tables which are valid for the specific snapshot date, and then we can join the tables together using this join conditions, the business join conditions. In this case, for example, in this snapshot table contains always at least one data row with the actual date, and in this case, our fact transformation will expose only the actual data, but we can add more snapshots to the snapshot table. For example, end of the last month, or end of the last end of the February, end of the May, or January, and so on. And in this case, we have the possibility to see the previous versions of our data, the versions of our data for specific snapshot date. And using snapshot, we can provide the additional timeline, or we can provide the timeline in case you have no timeline at all on your data, for example. Therefore, the snapshot historization type is very interesting. But in case, for example, you don't need this snapshot, you will only work with the actual data, you can select, for example, say the historization type is actual only. The view will be changed. There is no snapshot transformation. This where condition .bsist is equal 9999131 will be used, and in this case, only the actual data will be get from the historized tables. Okay, I would add one additional dimension here. AnalyticsCreator creates for us, remove filter, creates for us the calendar dimension. This calendar dimension in our case is just the view. You can see the view text here, and I will add this calendar dimension to my fact transformation. In the table orders, this is the table number 5. I have a column, for example, order date, and I will add the calendar dimension based on this column. And to do that, I can use the macros. I will use a calendar macro. This macro will transform my order date into ID from calendar dimension. Let me show you how it works. Macro is macro are very easy but very powerful. Let me show what is the macro. I have here date to ID macro, and macros is just the transactor SQL statement, and some parts of the statements are replaced by the placeholder. This double.1, this is a placeholder. And if I call my date to ID macro, this double.1 will be replaced by the first macro call parameter. Would I have here double.2, for example, placeholder, it would be replaced by the second parameter of the macro call, and so on. And here, this macro converts, the date or date time into ID from calendar dimension. And this macro was created together with calendar dimension. And here I can call in the statement this macro. And if I take a look on my view, this macro call will be replaced by the macro text, and you can see this double.1 was replaced by the macro, was the first macro call parameter, order date. And okay, using these macros, we will generate the ID from calendar dimension based on the order date. Okay, let me add some measures to this fact transformation. I have in the table order details some columns like, for example, quantity. Okay, then let me add, for example, unit price. Let me add the total price. Total is the one. This is the alias of the order detail transformation. Order detail table. The one quantity multiplied by the one unit price. Okay, that's enough, I would say. Okay, and now my data warehouse is almost completed. I will click on this button, Synchronize DWH. When I click on this button, this model will be materialized, and in my SQL server, the empty database with the structure I created here will be generated. And for example, some checks will be performed during the synchronization. For example, I can go there and do this dim categories transformation and add here something. What is okay? Sorry. Okay, I added here the dummy column containing the wrong statement, and when I click on the Synchronize DWH button, the syntax check will be performed, and I can see I used the invalid column in the dim categories, and I have to fix the bug in this transformation. Let me do it. Okay, remove, save. Okay, synchronize DWH, and okay, everything seems to be okay. Let me add one additional thing. I will persist the data in this effect transformation. This effect transformation, this is the view, and to speed up access to this view, I will persist it, and I can add the persisting. And to persist the data, I have to add here the name of the persisting package. Okay, for example, and pers1 finish. Okay, synchronize DWH, and I can see the content of this view will be persisted in the table fact order detail there during the data loading. This persisting will be performed using a persisting package. If I click on this PP square, I can see the definition of the persisting. The specific storage procedure was created to perform the materialization of the data. We support different kind of materialization. Full means the data and the table will be deleted, and every time and the table will be filled up with the data from the reporting view. We support different kind of merge materialization, incremental materialization, and so on. Okay, and on the right side, you can see the data mart layer. Data mart layer, this is the interface layer of our data warehouse. And here you can see the data star practically. And later, if we would generate, for example, the multidimensional or tabular OLAP cubes or Power BI models, the structure of this data mart layer will be used to create for example, the Power BI models, the Power BI cubes. I can here, for example, this is my transformation factor or details. For example, I can here add some, let me add some measures which will be used, or which will be used in the Power BI cube, which I will generate. For example, I will add, for example, the the total as measure. Let me add the quantity as measure. Aggregate, I would say sum. Let me add, for example, distinct count of customers and distinct count of products, for example. And here, for example, you can see the small feature of AnalyticsCreator, because we can help you to find out the names for your measures, because every measure name should be unique in the Power BI model. Sometimes it's difficult to find out such unique names, and we can provide you with additional functionality that you can use the measure name templates. Of course, you can call your measures by yourself, but this functionality allows you to have always unique measure names in your Power BI cubes. And the parsed measure name you can see here, and the column parsed measure name, for example, sum of quantity, sum of total, and so on. And you can, of course, use your own measure name templates. It is very easy. Okay. Now our model is almost complete, and but this is just the model, and now we have to deploy this model, and we have to create the deployment package. Deployment package, this is a Visual Studio solution which AnalyticsCreator generates. This solution contains everything that you need to deploy your data warehouse. First, it contains the DECPAC file. This is the most modern way how to deploy the Microsoft SQL Server databases. It contains the data warehouse definition. You can directly deploy from AnalyticsCreator. Okay, it is possible too. You can generate integration service packages and Azure Data Factory pipelines, and you can see additionally to the, for example, import package, historization package, persisting package, we have here the workflow package. The workflow package will be generated, and later you only have to execute this workflow package or workflow pipeline in case of Azure Data Factory to execute your full ETL process. Every other package will be executed in the workflow package in the correct order. Okay, we can create DECPAC and deploy DECPAC files. We can generate integration service packages or Azure Data Factory pipelines. We can generate multidimensional and tabular OLAP cubes, or we can even deploy your models directly into the Power BI in cloud in case you use Power BI Premium. If you use Power BI Premium, you have access to the Power BI XMLA endpoint, and you can use this XMLA endpoint to deploy your Power BI models directly from AnalyticsCreator. This generation of deployment package takes some time, and I already generated such deployment package, and you can take a look on it. You can see here the deployment package generated by AnalyticsCreator. This is a typical SQL Server data tool solution or integration service solution. Here you can see integration service packages, for example, workflow package. You can see it here, and very easy. Some logging will be performed, and then the according packages will be executed in correct order. Import package. Take a look on it. Okay, it's very easy. For every imported table, there's new container will be generated, and every container according. Okay, all packages which we generate are very simple, as you would create the packages manually by yourself. There is nothing specific, and you can maintain such packages later by yourself, no problem. Historization package, it's very easy. Only stored procedures will be executed in the historization package. Persisting package, it's the same, only the stored procedure will be executed. Okay, and then additionally to this solution belong, for example, the DECPAC file, which you can use to deploy your DECPAC, your databases, the XML file containing the definition of the tabular OLAP cube will be is belong to this solution too. There are some SQL files containing the configuration of integration service packages which we generate. Okay, and after this deployment package is created, you don't need AnalyticsCreator anymore. You can take this package and deploy and create your data warehouse. And here, for example, I generated the tabular OLAP cube, and here you can see, for example, the OLAP cube generated by AnalyticsCreator. You can see in the middle, this is an order detail transformation or order detail fact table. You can see here the dimensions which we generated in our model, and we can even try to create any report. For example, we can take measure sum of total. Okay, we can take team customers, for example. Here's the customer name, company name, for example. Okay, as I said, the cube is working, and it is very easy, and important is you can use the same model and deploy this model on Azure. You can generate the Azure data warehouses, you can generate the Power BI models, you can generate Azure Data Factory pipelines. Therefore, there is no difference between the models which you will use on premise or in the cloud. Okay, I think I can stop here.
Dimitri, may I interrupt? We have a question.
Yes, please.
And the question is, how does the packing work? How would CM be possible?
Sorry, could you repeat your question? What?
How does the packing work? How would CM be possible?
Sorry, I don't understand.
Aaron,
can you understand me?
Aaron, sorry, can we postpone the questions to the Q&A session, please? I hope that's fine.
Okay, yes, I think.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Okay. So I hope it's fine if I take over, Dimitri.
Yes, please, you can take over.
Okay,
and
great.
You can continue.
Thank you for this interesting insight into how AnalyticsCreator works. And I will now show you how BiG EVAL tests such a solution like built with AnalyticsCreator. And what you see here on my screen is the dashboard of BiG EVAL. You see it's a web-based solution where you can log in, and we have several security features and so on that work within your own data center or cloud environment. And here on the dashboard, I can see the last test results of our last test runs. They are grouped into these graphs here. We call this a test suite. It's a combination of different test cases that belong together. And we can see that here that in this example, 7 test cases were successful and 8 failed. I can see even more details for my analysis here. See the last test runs. I can go into the details of every test run to see all test cases with the test results that were produced. I give you just here a small example how it could look like. As an example, we had here this KPI comparison that compares different measures out from the ERP system. So the revenue value, as an example, from sales transactions out of the ERP, and it compares it against the same measure within the data warehouse. We have a slight difference here, and you can see the details here within that details section here of that test result. If you make another test case, as an example, we want to see whether all customers have been completely integrated into our data warehouse. We have here an example to compare the business keys, what means we read all customer IDs out of the ERP and read the same out of the data warehouse, also a list of customer IDs. BiG EVAL reconciliates these lists against each other, and you can see as an example here that some customers are missing in the data warehouse. So 1,300 customers are missing. I can see this here. I can send out an email alert about that to developers or data stewards and so on that need to fix this issue. So depending on how you design your test case, the analyzation dialog looks differently. And let's look at how you build these test cases. And I have here some examples for this webinar, just to show you how this business key comparison works. As a simple example, here we go to the test case editor. We have some describing information, and here are all the switches to set up our test case. We have here several test algorithms, comparison algorithms, and also other things like the business rules here to check whether a data set meets different rules you define there. And we can also do performance testing or check whether a schema of a source system has changed suddenly, what could lead to an issue within the data warehouse or data pipeline at the end. So for this test case, we choose exactly equal probes. Then we go over to the probes register, and here we set up our probes. We call these probes because you can take just some small samples out of a table, but you can get the whole table to be fed into the test algorithm. And here what we do is we select these customer IDs from the customer table right from our ERP data source. And we have a second probe here out of the data warehouse. We select the customer keys. And now that's all I need to do. Now I can push the play button here to manually run the test case, but I could also add these test cases to an automation, what means I can build a time plan as an example to run a couple of test cases at 4 o'clock in the morning, for example, or I can directly integrate the test runs into my processes. So just after loading the data warehouse as an example, or after staging data, you could apply a couple of test cases automatically and check whether everything is well. And if not, you could stop the process to integrate that data into your data warehouse or subsequent systems there. So that's basically how BiG EVAL works. You define these probes, you define the test algorithm, and you get back test results. But how does it work with metadata? And here we have a very powerful functionality of BiG EVAL because you can customize everything. You can customize the behavior of of a test case. And I have here is a little example. That's the dimension histo check here. What we do here is we check whether the historization of a dimension has been done correctly. So probably there could be an issue with the valid from and valid to date. You all know from STD2 historization. If they are turned around accidentally, you have an issue. So that's what this test example does. It checks whether the date times are in the correct order. But this time we use the third register here, the control register, to apply this single test case to all historized dimensions I read out of the metadata from AnalyticsCreator. Here what we do is we access the metadata repository and read out the list of all historized dimensions by selecting them right from that metadata repository. Then we loop through this list of these dimensions and run the test case for each of these dimensions. But in between, we set up a couple of parameters. As an example, we set up the table name of the historized table, the key name, and also the names of the columns for the from and to historization columns. It's just a simple example to show you how that works. And now, if I go to the probes register, you can see that we have here a couple of placeholders that will be replaced by the actual value of this parameter we have set up in our control script here. And so that's the whole magic. We define this here, use these parameters, and at the end, if I run the test case, you will see that it runs multiple times, because I have multiple dimensions within my repository. It needs a couple of seconds to initialize. And now I see I had 3 different test runs here. So I get 3 different test results for the dimension product, employee, and promotion. And there you can see in the employee dimension, we had here some issues. So you can see here the key of the employee record and a small message that shows you that these dates are turned around. So just as an example. Now we can go a step further and do something like the following example. We can compare values. What means we compare, we have an entity, let me see, we have different entities in our repository from AnalyticsCreator, and all these entities have a source table anywhere, maybe in the staging area, maybe in a source system, and they have a target table in the data warehouse. And what we do is we check whether the attributes have copied correctly or transformed correctly by applying a simple comparison algorithm here. But what we do is, it looks now a little bit more complicated here, but it's simple because we provide a lot of examples, as I mentioned, within our gallery of BiG EVAL. And there you can download this, modify it, customize it however you need it. What we do here is we read a list of all dimensions, loop through these dimensions, and then for each dimension, we read all attributes that are available within that dimension. And so we set up a list of attributes here to be included into our SQL query. So we use all the same here with the parameters. We set these parameters and run the test case. If we look here at the probe section, it looks a little bit more simpler than the script you have seen. Here we replace the primary key, we replace the list of attributes and also the table name. So it's not really a complete SQL query here, but it gets completed by the parameters. And if I run that now, it does the same as before. As I mentioned, it loops through these dimensions, collects the attributes, and then I get the test results. Here, I think it was in the promotion dimension. I will show you the query that we built. Here we have here this select distinct, special offer ID, description type. All this comes from the metadata, also the table names here. And the same here for querying the data warehouse. And at the end, we had a difference here. The English promotion name in the data warehouse was different compared to the source system. It was just a manual tweak I did for this demo to show you how it would look like. So you see here, this automation is very powerful. You only need to build that test case once. And if you add now to your model more dimensions, you may add 10, 20, 30 dimensions more. And at the end, the test case automatically adapts and collects these dimensions as well and runs it automatically. You don't need to do even one click to run test cases for all other dimensions as well. And this saves you a lot of time and makes it very powerful with this. So we call it, we even automate the automation of testing here. And yeah, I have a lot of other examples. I could show you just one more thing here that is interesting, the business rules method, test method. What we do here is we choose the test method rules. Now we need to define a data set we want to validate. So what we do is we select a list of employees out of the employee table, right in the ERP system in this case. So we validate source data directly here. So we have this list of employees. It looks like this. So here you can see the employees with a couple of attributes here. And then we set up different rules. As an example, we check whether the gender field of an employee has a value. So this is a requirement. So we reference the gender field here in this expression and say it's not empty. That's the rule to succeed the test case, or this rule. And we can even do more complicated things like this. We can use, in this example, we take the birth date, calculate the actual age of the employee, convert hours to vacation days, and depending on the age of the employee, we check whether he has got the right amount of vacation days. So this could also be a rule. You can even do lookups into other systems if you want to build a rule. So that's very powerful. All these rules get run against the dataset, and what you get back is a list of employee records that do not meet at least one of these rules. So you can send that list to your data stewards to fix it directly in the HR system or wherever it comes from. So yeah, we have a lot of features. Just to mention the last thing, BiG EVAL also integrates with your applications. As I mentioned before, it's simply to do. You can say here as an example, let's say we want to use a webhook. You can say if a specific test suite fails, you choose which one, then you can send the test results and statistics to that webhook. So maybe you can post a message to Slack, or you can trigger a process, even a business process, to fixing these issues. And so BiG EVAL doesn't stop when test results are ready. You can even integrate with your business processes to also shift maybe efforts that have been done, or data quality fixing issue to fix issues. You can shift these efforts to business people if possible by using this functionality. Okay. So let's go back here to the presentation slide after my demo. Just to mention, we have special offers for you as attendees of this event. First, I will explain our BiG EVAL offer, and then I think I will hand over to Peter to explain the AnalyticsCreator offer. And yeah, what we offer you is you can get BiG EVAL Scale. That's one of our most powerful additions for teams, not only for single persons. You can use it in teams for your business intelligence project or whatever else. You get it for $99 per month instead of $499, but just for 2 months. You use this coupon code on our website, and only the first 20 offers or orders will get this discount. Okay, Peter, you want to take over the screen? I hope so.
Peter, we can't hear you.
Ah.
Okay, you cannot hear me.
Now
yeah, I just said it's a very good offering, so maybe I will order it also. Okay, but we have also a special offer for all the attendees. It's the AnalyticsCreator core package. It's you can see it on the web page on the product, and you get it for the price of the starter package. And this is really nice, a very big discount. And it's valid until the 3rd of May this year. And you have also a free unlimited trail until the 30th of May. Yeah. So unlimited means that it's not. You can add how many databases you want. You can work with 20 users if you want. It's just limited on the 30th of May. That's all. Yeah, so I think we come now to the Q&A section. So if anybody want to ask us something, so you can ask Thomas, you can ask Dimitri, me, everybody. So I think it's now able to switch on the microphone. So please do this or write in the chat for your question.
Okay, do you hear me?
Yep.
Yes, we can.
Sorry, so I was the one putting this question before during the demonstration of Dimitri. So the only thing I wanted to see, because you had shown in one of your demonstrations at the end this project manager, I don't get that name, and I only wanted to know how you organize these projects also in the direction of quality management. So when you do have one project and you want to save it, and then certainly there's a next version or so on, this was a question a little bit, if there's something you can show or tell.
So this is mainly targeted to the test cases or also to data warehouse automation, or both?
This was on the data warehouse automation on the AnalyticsCreator. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, then
yeah,
maybe
Dimitri.
Answer. AnalyticsCreator has some capabilities which allow you to work together on the same project. First, you can save your project in the text file, and you can in the SQL file, I would say, and you can check this file in your version controlling system like Git, Bitbucket, I don't know, Subversion, and so on. And this is the first thing that you can do. Then we can, for example, several users can work together on the same data warehouse repository. And for example, you can log some objects in the repository for yourself, and nobody can change these objects except you. Then, okay, this is one of the capabilities. You can define in your data warehouse the groups for some areas related, for example, to the specific data star or to the specific fact transformation, and then you can select this group and lock this group for yourself and work in this group. It will be the part of the data warehouse which will belong to you practically. You can create the partial deployment packages where only the specific object group will be deployed, for example. We have a lot of customers who work together. Okay, I mean, we have the teams who work on the same project. And important is, for example, at the moment we have, for example, no check-in, check-out possibilities. We will have, okay, we work on the integration with the Git in one of the next versions of the AnalyticsCreator. It will be possible to, we will introduce the integration with the Git and Bitbucket, and it will be possible to check and check out your changes directly from AnalyticsCreator. But right now, as I said, you can store your repository. Let me show it to you one moment how it works. One moment, please. One moment. Start my demo. Connect. Okay, I'm present screen. Okay, for example, this is, you can see my screen, I hope, yes? Okay, this is our repository which we just created, and I can store the repository to the file. It will be just a text file. It's the name of my repository, save, replace. And now you can see, let me check where I stored it. Save. Okay, download this file. This is just a SQL file. Just a SQL file containing the full definition of my data warehouse, of my repository, of my project, and you can check it in the Git, and okay, it will work. And now I can, if I will, I can load the repository from file. Okay, I can store it in another repository or use the same repository name, and okay, how it works. Okay, I got the repository from the file. I can save the repository in the cloud, in our own cloud. And important is, if I store a repository in the cloud, the previous versions of the repository will be not deleted, but I have always access to the previous versions of my repositories. For example, I can click on load from cloud, and here, for example, I have several repositories, and for example, this is a EV repository, and if I click on this triangle icon on the left, I see the previous versions of this repository stored in our cloud. Every time if you store the repository in our cloud, the previous versions of the repository will be not deleted, but you still have access to it. Okay, I hope I answered.
Thank you very much, gave an answer. Thank you.
Are there some other questions?
I can ask a question, Thomas and Patrick. Common question. So we use various storage technologies like relational databases, NoSQL databases, flat files, and data lakes. How does BiG EVAL handle this if I need data from different technologies within the same test case?
Okay, that's an interesting question. BiG EVAL is technology agnostic. That means it doesn't matter where data comes from which technology. You just need a driver to connect to this technology. If you don't have one, there are several platforms like Apache Drill or so you can connect to this to that technology as well. But at the end, you use the syntax of the source system. As an example, if you have a SQL Server analysis services tabular model, you use DAX, or an OLAP cube, you use MDX. So you define your probes with that syntax. And BiG EVAL abstracts what comes back. So maybe a date time from Oracle is usually not directly comparable to a date time of a SQL Server. And BiG EVAL abstracts this. So a date time is always a date time. So the test algorithm can work with that. So at the end, it doesn't matter. This makes you capable to build end-to-end tests. Also, so you can compare within the same test case. You can do a comparison through all your architectural layers, and it doesn't matter which technology it comes from. Hopefully, that answers the questions.
Thank you so much. Maybe I can ask one more question before interrupt. We use a complex user role concept in our data analyzer solution to control data access. Can this be tested automatically with BiG EVAL?
Yes. User roles are usually connected to, let's say, Active Directory users. So if a user uses his Active Directory role to access, let's say, a tabular model, he gets another different access to data than others. BiG EVAL is able to impersonate to different users. So you can use scripting technology to loop through a list of different users, for example, and use their security context to access a data source. And so you get able to check whether a specific user is able to access a specific region within that data or whether he's not. And that's so you can build this using this impersonation and scripting functionality in combination.
Thank you so much for your answer. Do we have any other question?
The chat is quiet.
Maybe I can ask my one last question. We built our own testing framework. What makes BiG EVAL better than what we have built?
Yeah, that's I like that
question.
yeah, that depends. I can give a general answer to this because I don't know the solution of the that was built manually, and but most in-house built solutions focus on one specific task or one specific area of testing, and so in that area this solution can be better than BiG EVAL for sure, but when it comes to scale out to other testing regions, maybe if you add requirements in future sprints or something like this, then it's simple to scale with BiG EVAL. Because BiG EVAL has a standardized approach, and with these in-house built solutions, it's usually difficult to change the focus of them. And also, it's with BiG EVAL, if you decide to use a subscription of BiG EVAL, you can use it right at the same day, and you have the first benefits on the first day. So you don't need to absorb your developers in developing this testing solution. And after a couple of weeks, you can use the test framework. And at the same time, you could use their workforce much better in building what they like to build, data insights. So I would say these are very good points if you decide between building an own solution or use a standard product. So we do the work for you.
Thank you, Thomas. Thank you so much.
Another question? Just on the coming through from for AnalyticsCreator is one. Can you just clarify how one goes about testing AnalyticsCreator in terms of the trial? And also, how would one go about connecting Salesforce?
Okay, I can answer this. So the test trial version is very easy to get. You go on our website. On the main page, you have right upper corner. You have a button trial. You press the button. You fill out the form. There are 2 pages, and in the second form, you just describe a little bit what you want to do, and what you want to achieve, and you talk about a little bit about your project, and then automatically the data will be sent to us, and within 24 hours you will get the email with a link for downloading the trial version and a description and a step-by-step approach, how you get started alone. So I would say if you are a BI developer, data warehouse developer, or also if you know how to model, dimensional model, I think you will get it very fast, and in half day you get very close to AnalyticsCreator. So also we help you with this. So if you have a question, we have a support hotline. You can call us. We help you on the first steps, and then you can go further and connect your real data, create a source of a data warehouse, and you can run it. It's a license which works, and after 30 days. So usually we talk about if you're satisfied or not, and what is important that we help you on this process. So when you go through the trial, we are always on your side and will support you. Yeah, that's important. And the second was about Salesforce. Salesforce, we have 2 types of connectors. The most common connectors are included in AnalyticsCreator. These are the connectors from ourselves, and then we have third-party connectors such as Salesforce. These third-party connectors coming from CData, a US company, and this company do the connectivities of the most ETL technologies vendors worldwide. And we also use the same connector, and we say to everybody that CData, the most of the others don't say what's the name of the connector. So you can purchase such a connector for Salesforce at AnalyticsCreator or directly there. It's maybe just €100 a month or €50 a month, something like that. And then it works. And this company has more than 250 connectors, and which you can use. It's huge. So you find any kind of connector there for sure.
One small additions regarding Salesforce. If I'm not wrong, Peter, one of our customers use Salesforce OData interface to get the data. I'm not sure about it, but I heard about it. AnalyticsCreator supports OData interface, and I think Salesforce provides this OData interface, OData 2 or OData 4, and you can try to use OData connector of AnalyticsCreator.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it is performant enough because OData has some performance issues, but I think it should work.
Yeah. Okay. So we are 2 hours right now, at least half an hour more than expected, but it's good. Thank you. Thanks a lot, everybody. But maybe there's another question. So. No? Okay.
I think it doesn't look so.
Yeah.
I think all questions are answered.
Yeah. So I think then we are at the end. Thank you everybody for joining us, and thank you for Thomas for the great presentation. Also thank you to Dimitri and all others for the organization. I hope you join us soon on our next events. If you have questions to this event and how it works with BiG EVAL together, just come up to us, to me, or to Thomas directly. It doesn't matter. And this is how it works. And I just want to recommend the next upcoming events. If you go on our website on events, you will see a lot of new events. In the next week there are coming new events through August. We have every 3 weeks events about different cases, and I think the next is about SAP or something like that, connectivity to SAP. You find it out. So that's it from my side. Thanks a lot, and
thank you very much.
Hopefully
Thank you
see
so
you
much.
soon.
Also from my
Okay.
side, it was a real pleasure. Thank you.
Bye bye.
Thank you very
Bye-bye.
much.
Have a good day.
Bye.
Enjoy your weekend.